this is Chandler with World Gone Silent. When I first started recording these videos, I promised I was going to explain what's going on over there. Today, I'm coming through. Over my shoulder over there is what's called a Winlink gateway. At its most basic, it's just a radio plugged into a computer. It takes sounds in, turns them into emails, and then sends them out over the internet. But there's a lot of steps between just having a radio and a computer and all the other stuff that's needed to get set up. The cat is helping. You need 4 things for a radio to work. You need power, you need an antenna, you need some way to transmit and receive, and you need a way to interface with the radio. All 4 of those things are going on over there, but in a slightly more complicated way. The first thing that we have is a battery backup. There's a big battery inside of this box, and the box acts as an uninterruptible power supply. There's enough juice in there to keep the whole setup going for about an hour and a half. That includes everything with the monitor, the radio, the computer, everything. That power supply means that even if the power gets cut off here, it'll still be able to operate for about 90 minutes or so. The next thing that's plugged in is a power supply. So you need a special power supply that puts out 12 volts DC in order for your radio to work. But the power coming out of your wall is 120 volts AC. This power supply essentially plugs into the wall and then turns it into 12 volt DC power. I have the power supply plugged into the battery backup. So that way everything will keep operating if the power gets knocked out. Next, I have power from that power supply going to what's called a rig runner. The rig runner lets you run power to multiple items. Going into and out of that rig runner are what's called power poles. Those are the same connections that are used by Aries members to make sure that their power supplies all work with each other. That power pole is plugged into the bottom of the radio, and the screen of the radio is actually detachable. This radio is the ICOM IC5100. Outside the window, I have an antenna, and that antenna is running the signals into the radio. The signals go from the radio to the signaling box, which acts as an external sound card to help the computer work better. After the signals hit the signaling box, they go into the computer. This is a really old desktop PC. The nice thing about it is that it's got a whole bunch of storage. I got it relatively cheap. Because this is an older PC, it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So I had to get this external antenna. This antenna plugs into the computer, and then it connects to the Wi-Fi connection coming out of another room. On the computer, I have 2 pieces of software running, Sound Modem and RMS Packet. Sound Modem lets the computer take those VHF signals and translate them into something that's easier for the Winlink software to use. After Sound Modem, I have RMS Packet. That is the Winlink software that lets my computer act as a gateway. It takes and receives messages, coordinates the connections, and then when it gets data, it can push it up to the internet or put a call out to the internet to get data and bring it down from the internet and then put it out over the radio. Last, I had that small monitor. I had to set up the monitor so that way it would shut off after about 10 or 15 minutes. There's a lot of RF coming off of the monitor, and it was interfering with the signals that I got. The last piece I needed was a keyboard and a mouse or a touchpad. Some way to interface with the computer, but also that I could put out of the way when I didn't need to use it on a regular basis. The nice thing about my setup is that it's pretty flat, so it just stays against the wall and it's mostly out of the way. But if I need to tinker around with it, it's easy to just yank the keyboard off the wall and tinker and then put everything back to the way it was. So that's what you're looking at over there. That is a Winlink gateway that I've got set up in the house. It's been really helpful to better understand how Winlink works, and it's also helpful for testing. So when I get different products in here and I need to do QA testing and make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to, I have a gateway right there that I can use to test and confirm that everything is working. So that's it. That's the whole secret of my whole setup that's been over my shoulder on the wall for a while now. If you have any interest in getting started with Winlink, we've got a brand new starter kit that'll let you get involved in Winlink right away. Even if you don't have a license, I include a subscription to Ham Test Online, so that way you can get your license and start using Winlink as quickly as possible. It's a great technology that lets you not only send emails from a radio without having a connection to infrastructure, but you can also format those emails as text messages. So you can use your radio to reach people that don't even use radio. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. It is a radio plugged into a computer. Thanks, Magoon. The cat wants to help.